Well, hello, my model militia. So, we need to have a conversation about this kit. Now, earlier I did a comparison between this and the Revell 66 Malibu Flipnose, and check that one out if you haven't. I'd appreciate it. Um, but I did that more as just kind of a see what's different about the two kits, which I knew there was going to be plenty, but more or less the body is what I was concerned with it. But I didn't actually do an open box review as far as showing everything that comes in the kit. So I'm going to do that this time, but mainly because we really need to have a serious conversation about this kit. I've never, okay, so here's some, a little bit of background for you. I've never done a Johann or a Mobius or a Limburg kit to my knowledge. I say to my knowledge because I've been told this was a Limburg kit. And if that's the case, then we'll talk about that in a second. So I learned a little something about myself. So I learned that my favorite part about the model building experience is working with the raw styrene. I think it's because, well, this I find a little bit therapeutic to remove mold lines in Flash and all that stuff. I don't know why. There's just something deeply satisfying about it to me, and also while it's still in the raw styrene phase. The world's wide open to you. You still have all your options and things, and you still have all your hopes and dreams for how this kit's going to go together. And once you start putting paint on it and stuff like that, then it becomes a little more real, and there's a little more pressure on it. Then because you're trying not to mess up things that you have gotten to that stage, because nobody likes going back and starting over. So I've recently discovered that about myself, that's the part I enjoy. And because the weather's been crappy and I haven't been able to spray outside, I decided to just go ahead and work ahead on some kits that I plan on doing in the future to get some sub-assembly stuff done. And plus I had limited time, so I mean, it's nothing to sit down there and put a couple of engine halves together, right? So I was working on a couple of kits yesterday, and this was the third kit that I pulled out. And I love it. I absolutely love this kit. This kit is amazing. The plastic seems a little heavier to me than normal, and everything is so crisp. There's hardly any flash, which once again, flash is not a big deal for me. But I mean, not having to remove it is, I mean, that's a good thing, right? And but the fit and how well things went together, the ease at which they went together is amazing. Another little secret about me is a lot of my kits don't have shocks on them because they're usually so fiddly and so difficult to get into place that a lot of times I'm like, nobody's going to see them, so I don't care. This one already has the shocks on it because it just went together so well. So I'm gonna show you all the parts that came in this, but just remember a lot of the trees are gonna have missing parts on them because they're already gonna be there. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the sub assemblies and stuff. So the seats are two-piece. They got a full back on them. This one's actually the back window tray and the trunk liner in the floor, whatever. But no seams, just absolutely beautiful. There is a little nub right there I missed, but that's okay. It won't be seen, but I'll still take it off anyways because OCD. But yeah, there's no gap here, no gap there, no gap on the sides. Beautiful. Same with the bucket seats, the front ones. These are great. And if you notice, the upholstery's got a little bit of texture. I talked about that in the comparison video. And I think that'll make it look more like interior instead of just flat styrene. This is the first engine half I put together in a long time that I didn't have to sand it so that there wasn't a seam in the middle. Or not a seam, wasn't a gap. I didn't have to do anything to it. Just put it together, glued it together, and like a lot of them, this will line up, and for some reason the tail section of the transmission will be out of line. So you kind of have to have everything just a little out of line so nothing's way out of line on some kits I've done recently. And this one's it just went together and it worked. And there's great detail on it. I mean, just love this kit. Okay, so here's the big one. So suspension, the rear end comes in 2 pieces. Put that together. It's got like little traction bar things on the top of it. It's the bottom here, but the top of it. And these traction bars were mounted in. And so I just kind of set it in there and just to kind of get a feel for it. And it locked in. And I didn't have any glue on it or anything. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get it out. I thought I was just going to have to drop a little glue around there and call it good. But as I was trying to put the springs in, this side actually eventually came loose, and then, but I still never pulled it out all the way. I got the springs, the shocks in. The shocks they have, you drop the bottom in, and then just move this in order, put it on the post. It has a little hole drilled out through there. It just went together. No problem at all. There's some smaller fiddly parts on the front, but everything locked in. Instead of having a hole in the top and in the bottom of the control arms, it actually on one side had like a slot instead of a hole, and so you drop it in there and it don't flop around. It just went. It's just so easy to put this front end together. Just great. The firewall. I mean, you can see the seam, but there's no gap. It just pushed it in and it just locked in. That's another thing. Most of the stuff that I put in together, you could lock it in and then glue it without holding it. It was amazing. I mean, half the time you're building models anymore, you're trying to, you get it locked in, but then by the time you try to put glue on it or whatever, it just, you're fighting it. This, you just put stuff together, put a little drop of, the thin, that little wicking type glue, and it just, so beautiful. I absolutely love this kit. There's so much detail. Steering column. And the airbox. Alright, so I have to go through this quick because I'm taking too long. Body's clean. Very, very clean. There's a little mold line. We'll have to see how that comes out in paint. Rubber tires. They're very hard rubber tires, but they're rubber tires. Chrome looks good. Very nice and thick and shiny. I know most of you guys hate chrome, but I don't have a airbrush, so I'm stuck with chrome. I'm not going to use spray chrome out of a can. It's just not going to look good. Glass is clean. Headlights. Taillights fell through. I don't remember what I had on it, but I don't know. 2-piece exhaust system. Probably won't use it. Might use this much. That's another thing. I don't run mufflers because all my cars are hot rods for the most part. Center console, under dash. That's for the transmission. I haven't put that on yet. The rest of the engine stuff. Look at the headers. So clean. There's no flash around them. How often do you see that? Look at the pulleys and the belts. Nothing. Clean around the hinges of the hood. Just don't know if I'll do it. Usually I won't, but this kit is so freaking nice, I might. Here's the rest of the dash. You got the main dash part, the front and everything. Then you got the top. I think all that being a 3-piece, at first I hated it, but now I think it's going to make everything really neat. There's some painting that you can do with it that'll make great. Door cards will look great. Look at the holes. You can see the holes in the steering wheel. All of them. All of them. Even little teeny tiny ones. You guys probably can't. I can see the holes clean through it. There's no flash around these little rings. How often do you see that? It's crazy. Wheel backs were 2-piece. Those just locked right in. I dropped a little glue in there. It's just so good. Taillights. Last thing. All right. So the instructions. These instructions are great. Decals. It does have your gauge cluster. It's got your emblems. don't know if those are hood pins or not. I think maybe. I don't know. My eyes aren't that good. I can't see without zooming in on something. Some optional stickers. The flames kind of seem a little too small to do anything with them, but you know, whatever. So that looks good stuff. So here's what I want to show you about this real quick. So it's really crisp if you just follow the lines that tell you which holes they go into. It's really well done. So if you don't have this kit, get this kit. This kit is awesome. I think I'm going to get like 5 more. Don't tell Heather.